Good morning, students of class 10. Welcome back to the online classes now. Let's do our lesson in English. Lesson 5, footprints without feet. That's lesson 5. Now, this is our new lesson. Question of trust will not come, and midnight visitor also will not come. But this lesson 5 will come. Footprints without feet. Now here we'll talk about a scientist who misuses his discovery. He had discovered to become an invisible person, but he misuses his discovery and he ruins his life. So now let's see what the story tells us or teaches us. This story is about a scientist. His name is Griffin, who discovered how to make himself invisible. Invisible means disappear, so that people cannot see him. But he misuses his discovery. He misuses his discovery. He puts it in the wrong practice, or he uses it for his self-interest, you can say. Number 2. Two young boys were playing in the street in London. Two boys started means they were surprised, started in surprise at the fresh muddy imprints of a pair of bare feet. The two boys were playing in the street of London. They saw the footprints in front of them, and the footprint was appearing and it was moving forward. These two boys were surprised. We can't see the man, but we can see the footprints progressively moving forward. The two boys followed. They were very much surprised, scared also. Without a human being, they saw the footprints appearing out of nowhere. So they were started in surprise at the fresh muddy footprint of a pair of two legs of bare feet in the middle of London street. In the middle of London street, they saw the footprints appeared out of nowhere, and it was progressing. Means somebody is walking. They could not see the person, but they could see the footprints. They could not see the They could not see the man. They could not see the person. But a fresh footmark appeared from nowhere. Means there was a puddle of water, and somebody has stepped on the water, and they could see the footprints made by the invisible person of a bare feet. Bare means empty, without shoes and slipper. So they could not see the man, but a fresh footmark appeared from nowhere, and it was progressing further. The footprints were progressing. Progression means moving down the streets, going ahead. The boys followed until the prints became fainter and fainter, become not clear, fainter and fainter. Suppose if you step on the water and you walk for few steps, you can see the footprints of your feet, but after some time the footprint disappear because it dries up, the water dries up. So same thing happened over here. The two boys followed until the prints became fainter and fainter and finally disappeared. These two boys were surprised. What is that? They could not understand. They could not see the person, but they could see the footprints, fresh footprints made by somebody else, and progressing further. They followed, but they could not find or catch anybody else. So now this is the two boys, they saw that in the street. Actually this was Griffin. Griffin the scientist had carried out many experiment after experiment for many years. He was doing experiment. He was a scientist. His name is Griffin. To prove that, he made a number of experiments to prove that human body could become invisible. Human body could become invisible. He tried very hard to find out whether a human body can be invisible or not. But finally he swallowed some rare means not easily found, swallowed without chewing, he swallowed the pill, drugs, some rare drugs, and his body became as transparent as a sheet of glass. We see things because the light touches this, reflects, and we can see. If the light passes from here to there, if light passes, then we cannot see the object. Same thing. We see things because the light is reflected and we can see. The things can disturb the light on the path and it reflects, we can see the thing. If the light passes through the glass, we cannot see the glass. Suppose if you put a sheet of glass in front of you, you cannot see the glass. You can see things there, but you can't see the glass because light has passed. So similarly, finally he swallowed some rare drugs and his body became as transparent as a sheet of glass. The light could pass through his body, so he became invisible. Nobody could see him. Though he was a brilliant scientist, though he was a very good, brilliant scientist, he was a lawless person. Lawless means he never followed the general truth. He never followed the rules and regulations. Lawless, who disobeys rules and regulations. He was a rather lawless person. His landlord, he used to stay in a rented house. The landlord asked him rents for a number of times. But he said, when I discovered, I will pay you the money altogether. Don't worry. Every month he used to say. For many months, for many years, he has not paid any rent. So the landlord or the house owner was very much angry with him. The landlord always tried to throw him out of the house, but he was adamant. He stayed in the room. He never left that room. So his landlord disliked him because he never paid the rent and tried to eject him. The landlord tried to throw him out of the house because he did not pay the rent for many months, maybe a year. So in revenge, finally it was too much. To take the revenge, he set fire to the house. He burnt the house, the whole house, and he escaped. In revenge, he set fire to the house. He had to remove his clothes to get invisible, to run away from there without being seen, without being noticed. He had to open his clothes. Without clothes, he becomes invisible. But if he puts on the clothes, he can be seen. He becomes visible. So, after setting fire to the house, he set the fire and he had to run away from there, otherwise people will catch him. The landlord will also catch him, the neighboring people, the neighbors will also catch him. So therefore, he had to remove his clothes and he had to run away from there. So, he had to remove his clothes to get away from there after setting fire to the house without being seen as invisible. Without being seen as an invisible person. So, now he became homeless. He set fire to the house where he used to stay in revenge, and he set the fire and he ran away from there, opening his clothes, taking out his clothes. Now he became a wanderer, homeless person. Now he has no home to stay and no clothes. People could not see him, but he was without clothes. It was winter, he was feeling cold. Now he became homeless wanderer. Wanderer means one who keeps on moving around without any aim, aimlessly. Those who move around aimlessly without any aim, these type of people are called wanderer. Now he became homeless wanderer without clothes and without money. He had no money and no clothes. How he will manage to live now? Just by becoming invisible is not sufficient. In order to live, he needs clothes to protect himself from cold. It was very much cold. Winter was setting. So now what happens next in our next class? We'll meet and continue our lesson. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and stay safe. Go through online portal every day and don't waste your time. So we'll meet in the next class. Thank you very much.